Hey there, and welcome to Beat the Bookie. I'm Austin Barach, and I'm about to dish out one loser after another for the next 10 to 15 minutes, probably close to the 15-minute side. And that's unfortunate because this is the best Sweet 16 slate in recent memory. I suck at betting. I went well in the red in both my appearances here during college football season. But beyond hard facts like that, there's a few rules of trustworthiness that I subscribe to. 1, never trust Bruce Pearl with a top 4 seed. 2, never trust a man who can dance well. That's a Russilloism. And 3, never trust a man who's overdue for a haircut. I'm getting one on Friday, but this whole thing is bad. Look, I'm so bad at betting that you, the viewer, would be a fool to not fade all of my picks. Before we get to those, however, let's look back at how my friend Ben Spector fared last week. Ben lost the show $32 a week ago. Specs went all in on Drake. He made 11 Drake references, but it was ultimately Washington State who had been playing Marvin's Room on loop last Thursday night. Sorry, Specs. As we take a look back at the semester standings, Ben has actually lost the program $37 in total because of a failed Super Bowl wager. That puts him in the Pooch and JG ballpark. Yeah, we still live in a world somehow where Jack Gordon is somehow not only the worst at something, he's not even close to the best at something. Liam Griffin remains on top. Trust me, I know that because I faded all of his picks that week. That was a mistake. Again, I have zero feel for how all this betting stuff works. So, on that note, let's head to the big games.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
All 8 of these awesome Sweet 16 games are big, but we can only pick 3 here. We'll start in the West region with Carolina against Alabama. Carolina is balanced, Bama is not. I cannot trust a team that is beyond the top 100 in adjusted defensive efficiency to win more than 2 March Madness games. That's Bama. The Tide is beyond the top 230 in defensive rebound rate. They're outside the top 110 in opponent effective field goal percentage. They own the worst defense of any team left. And on offense, they rely too much on the motor of Mark Sears. He's a great player, but I see Carolina honing in on him like they did to Michigan State's Tyson Walker. After a couple early threes from him, the Tar Heels made things much more difficult for Walker and forced other players to beat them. That suffocated the MSU offense, which led to the UNC 17-0 run. Seth Trimble is an elite defender who'll be big in this matchup, plus the Heels are the best defensive rebounding team left, so that'll put more pressure on the Tide to make their shots. I also believe that Cormac Ryan will show up. He did not play well against the Spartans. That'll change right here. Oh, and one more note. Hubert Davis is 8-0 against the spread in the NCAA tournament. I'm throwing $15 on his team to win by more than 3.5. Let's stick with the Pro ACC agenda here. How about that? Duke and Houston in the South. Before the tournament, I thought Houston would dictate the terms of this game. For most of the season, the Cougars would force their opponent to play to their style, and the Blue Devils have typically been passive and allow themselves to play to their opponent's style. But things have changed. Houston looks vulnerable. A&M figured out that if they attack the basket relentlessly, they'd force Houston to foul. I'm not convinced that Duke will have the same aggressive mindset, but they will have the best player on the court in Jared McCann. I love Jamal Shed, but McCann is different. Plus, Houston is beyond the top 220 in true shooting percentage. They're beyond the top 230 in defensive rebound rate, and they're beyond the top 100 in assist rate. I don't know if the Blue Devils win. They haven't won as the worst seed in literally 30 years, 1994. What's up? Houston has a little team of destiny vibe to him as well. I'm a little nervous that Kyle Filipowski could get rattled out of the gate. That would be key. But Duke has a better record against the spread this season than Houston does, putting just $5 on John Shire's squad to cover the 4.5. Purdue Gonzaga rounds out our big 3 games, and boy, am I torn about this one. Both teams looked super impressive last weekend. Back in November, the Boilermakers pulled away from the Zags in Honolulu in the quarterfinal matchup. Gonzaga led at the break, but Purdue flipped the script in the second half, won by 10 points. Interestingly enough, it's the same 5.5-point spread this time around as it was back in November. I believe it'll be tougher for Purdue to beat a very good Zags team twice in the same season. Now, I acknowledge that Matt Painter's squad is on a mission. I get the whole 2019 Virginia story arc. In fact, everyone in America gets it. But I believe that Gonzaga makes this a game. Mark Few's guys shot below 20% from 3 in this matchup at Hawaii. I find it hard to believe they'll shoot that poorly again. I love the versatility and intelligence of Anton Watson. Graham Ike is a force, and Hickman and Nembhard are a very nice backcourt. I don't know who wins this game, but just like a Duke-Houston game, I believe the Zags are getting too many points, so I'm laying $10 on them to cover the 5.5. All right, let's check out how my picks compare to the C-suite and Jordan and Arnav. Wow, that might have been. I think Chuck's closed after that night. I'm not gonna lie. I think they saw that and was like, we got to get out of here. UNC, Duke, and Zags for me. The C-suite. Oh wow, the same night at Chuck's. I think Matt Fairfax was to my left in that picture. UNC, Houston, and Purdue. C-suite riding with all the 1 seeds. I guess the C-suite has been, or rather the host has been dominating all year. But with pictures like that, I wouldn't trust a man like that. Now that happened about a year ago actually, so I would hope that I've evolved since then. But who knows? Who knows? Wow, that is great stuff out of Jordan Leonard right there to find those pictures. Wow, that is truly amazing stuff right there. All right, so enough with that. Let's kick off my best bets with a doozy of a matchup in the Midwest. Tennessee and Creighton. I like the Blue Jays pre-tournament, and I'm sticking with them here. They got lucky against Oregon. McDermott acknowledged that, but they survived that scare and lived to see another game. And this matchup with Tennessee's game that I have them winning. Kalkbrenner will make things difficult for Tennessee around the rim. He's elite at that. Does not foul out either. Expect many missed layups from the balls. And look, everyone loves Dalton Connect, and rightfully so. But Baylor Shireman is also an elite shot maker. Ultimately, I trust an experienced Big East team over a Rick Barnes coach team. Give me the Jays to win outright. $10 on them at plus 118. All right, the first game of the Sweet 16, the first one, Thursday evening, Clemson in Arizona. Everyone and their mother has looked ahead to that Elite Eight match of Caleb Love against his former team, the Tar Heels, so I've been thinking, be a real shame if the Tigers spoil the party. Clemson is a good team. Hall and Gerard, we know what they are. They're known quantities, but get this. There's other guys that I really like. 2 guys that I've enjoyed most on this Clemson team this season have been Ian Shefflin and Chase Hunter. Those dudes are ballers. Shefflin doesn't back down to anyone. He's tough as nails. Hunter is always in control. He's got a great mid-range game. On the flip side, I've been fascinated by Arizona's wonky season. It's been really weird. They've lost too many weird games for a team that gets talked about in the tier directly beneath UConn. They lost by 18 at Stanford 2 days after blowing out Cal. They lost against a pretty bad Oregon State team 5 days after thumping Arizona State by 45. They lost at home to Washington State, a Cougars team that they'd already lost to. That cannot happen if you're a championship caliber team. 2 days after beating UCLA, they got worked by a disappointing SC team. That's too many weird losses. I don't trust them to cover such a large spread right here. Frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson wins outright. Every year, there's at least one of those teams that reaches the Elite Eight somehow, and we all go, wait, what? This team is 1 win away from the Final Four? That team could be Clemson. I'm putting $10 on the Tigers to cover the 7.5. Okay, UConn time. Dan Hurley's team has won every March Madness game last year and this year by at least 13. The spread, 11.5. The Huskies are 24-12 against the spread this season. The game is in Boston. The last time that the City of Champions hosted a regional was 2018. The 1 seed that year was Villanova. I was there. Wildcats did get tested in the Sweet 16, but ultimately won by 12. Dan Hurley is a madman, and I love it. He runs beautiful offensive sets. I mean, somehow they lost 3 starters a year ago and got better. I think the lazy storyline in this game is that San Diego State wants revenge for losing to UConn in the title last year. Wrong. I believe that in Dan Hurley's twisted mind, the Huskies want revenge for only beating the Aztecs by 17 in that game. Get that. UConn has so many dogs on this team. Castle, Spencer, and Newton, just to name a few. UConn rolls in Boston, laying 15 on them to win by at least 12. To circle back to the Carolina-Bama game, this total is very high. It should be a fun, up-and-down game. I'm especially bad at the over-under bets. I thought if I took the over here, I'd fall into that trap of wanting points to score between these 2 high-scoring teams. So we'll go with the under here, 173.5. It's a high mark. This game could be 86-84, and the under would still hit by 3 points. So I'm wagering $5 on the under right there. I know it sucks. On the women's side, I love Duke against UConn. Love it. I hate to be I had them in my bracket guy, but I pat myself on the back right there because I did have Duke over Ohio State. That's a fraud Buckeyes team. The Blue Devils get after it defensively. The Huskies are vulnerable. The 20-point spread against Syracuse was flat out stupid. I think Duke beats UConn straight up. Again, that's what I have in my dumb bracket, so I'm placing $15 on Carol Lawson's squad to cover the 8.5. Just too many points. And get this, as a complete aside, I would do a player prop or two, but then Jonte Porter happened. Yikes, tough scene right there. Then on Wednesday, NCAA President Charlie Baker said that he wants to ban college prop bets for college athletes, so no prop bets for me. Thought that should be acknowledged on a sports betting show. So now we've got 15 left to play with for a future and a parlay. Futures and parlays are great for the book. These things almost always lose, so I'm going to split what I got and put $7.50 on each. Yeah, I know it's disgusting. Jordan hates me, the graphic, what's up? But look, my future bet is actually more disgusting. My bet, a 1 seed will win this tournament. The odds of that are minus 190. Gross, right? I don't care. All I care about is winning money here. This bet is super safe. Just do the good old close your eyes test and envision these teams cutting down the nets and hosting the trophy. I can only envision 1 seeds doing that. UConn, Carolina, Houston, or Purdue. Any other team winning it just would not feel right. Just would not feel right. So that'll pay out fewer than $750, but whatever. So look to the entire list here of the futures. Jack Jordan lost already. I mean, I don't really know too much about hockey. I trust what Jesse's got cooking up. BT Reed with the Flyers. Philly always sucks. Pooch, Judge, home run king. Kind of trying to do what Spencer did last year with a little thing that could pay off in October. LG with the Purdue winning the Natty. Again, Big Ten curse. Hasn't happened since 2000, but if you just did the close your eyes test, Purdue really might. EPL champs, I do not follow soccer. That's too bad for Annie. And Specs for UConn win the Natty at plus 370. Now they're plus 220. The field is minus 330. So between LG and Specs, the 1 seed, I could see that happening, but ultimately I really like Carolina as well. So a lot of good stuff right here, and that is my future. Parlays are brutal because they always look great on paper, but then one leg always loses. Anything beyond plus 500 odds, I think, is a long shot to hit. Too many things have to go right. So I cooked up a 4-leg parlay that adds up to plus 385 odds. Firstly, Clemson's adjusted line to plus 10.5. I like the Tigers to hang around all game. Next up, UConn. All they got to do is win by at least 4.5 on the adjusted line. All they do is dominate. That's all they do. And lastly, for Thursday, North Carolina, just win the game. Win the game at the minus 184 money line. Just need to take care of business. And then on Friday, we'll sweat it out with Creighton at plus 5.5 on that adjusted line right there. I think all they got to do is lose by 5 or fewer. I think that's good. I'm laying the last $750 on this, which would net nearly $29. All right, so to recap it all, I really like North Carolina. I think Vegas is disrespecting the Tar Heels somehow. I mean, Arizona's favored to come out of the region. I don't know why. Carolina's better. I think they blow out, maybe not blow out Bama, but easily win that game. Houston, Duke, I think these two teams are too close. Duke, I like them with the points. Same thing with Gonzaga. I know Purdue is on a mission right now. The Zags are too good to not lose by at least 5 points or fewer. Tennessee, Creighton, give me the Blue Jays. Rick Barnes in March, not a good recipe. I know Connect is awesome, but again, Shireman's awesome. Shireman is really, really good. Arizona, Clemson, Joe Girard, man, I think he's going to hit some shots. UConn, let them roll. Roll, baby. San Diego State won't know what hit them. UConn blows them out. Again, I think they want revenge for only beating them by 17 last year in the title game. Carolina, Bama, everyone wants to go over. I say let's go under. I know that sucks, is what it is. UConn, Duke in women's basketball out in Portland. Duke, we saw what they did to Syracuse. They're really good defensively. UConn barely squeaked past Syracuse just a few days ago. Give me Duke with the spread right there. The future, champion's going to be a 1 seed. Hate to tell it, folks. Marquette, not happening. NC State, forget about it. All these other teams, Illinois, cool. Iowa State, really love them, but not happening. 1 seed's coming on the Nets. And for my parlay, Clemson, UConn, UNC, and Creighton. We've got to sweat out Creighton there, 5.5 on Friday night. But those first 3 Thursday, I feel very good about. All right, that's all, folks. Thank you to the producers, Jordan Leonard and Arnav Pokral, for having me. This weekend of Hoops is going to be awesome. Enjoy every second of it.